Fighting grief. 6 years ago, my dad was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of cancer called leukemia, which attacks your red blood cells. I was 6 years old at the time, and I didn't think it was a big deal, because people get sick all the time. I always thought he was going to be okay, even when he went to stay at the hospital. Things only started getting serious for me when he went to ICU, which means intensive care unit. I was rarely allowed to see him, and even that was against the hospital rules because I was too young. He was hooked up to a bunch of wires, and most of the time couldn't talk to me because he had to have a mask to help him breathe. One day, after school, I went home with a friend of my mom. I had a fun time playing at her house, but I couldn't figure out why she acted so serious. When I got home, things got even stranger. All kinds of different cars overflowed the driveway, and when I went inside, most of my relatives sat somberly in the kitchen. Before I could get to them and ask what was going on, my mom intercepted me. "Emily, I need to talk to you in your room." Once we got there, she announced that my smart, kind, invincible dad was dead. I don't know how long I was up there with her, crying my broken heart out. At that time, I wasn't a Christian, and my dad's death felt like the world was ending. I was mad at my dad for dying, and God for letting him die, and it only got worse. After a while, to help with the grief, my mom enrolled us both in grief therapy classes. I don't know how my mom felt, but it wasn't helping me. Only one other person had a parent who died, and that was her mom. Nobody's dad had died, especially not from cancer. I felt different, and I dreaded going there every week. Most times I would get through all right. Other times I was not so lucky. Resurfacing memories was painful, and it felt like my heart was being ripped open, again and again. I would cry and bang on the door until my mom came. We gave up on the classes. After my grandpa died, my mom announced that we were going to move. She wanted to be closer to my brother, Tony, who had moved out to California to start a family. That was another night of crying. By the time my 9th birthday was coming around, we were looking for houses. I didn't want to move, and when we started packing, I realized all the memories we were leaving behind. Like the playhouse that my dad had built for me, or the trampoline one of my brothers had got me when I was younger, or all the friends I wouldn't see every day at school. By then, I had become a Christian, but I was still mad at God for making me go through all this. Once we got moved in, it was time to choose a new school. We tried homeschooling, but I missed being in a classroom full of other kids. Then we tried a charter school, but I didn't really want to go there next year because it didn't feel like the Christian environment I was used to in Oklahoma. In 2010, I decided to go to a Christian school called Calvary Marietta. I immediately loved it, but I still had the grief carried with me from Oklahoma, and it affected my life. For example, I would cry in chapel when a song that I recognized was playing, and be mad at them for changing the way it was played. But my teacher, Mrs. Ernst, helped me through every time and always made sure I was okay. She was an amazing influence in my life, and I am forever grateful to her. 1 Thessalonians 4:13-18 says, "But I do not want you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning those who have fallen asleep, lest you sorrow as others who have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so God will bring with him those who sleep in Jesus. For this we say to you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive and remain will by no means precede those who are asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And thus we will always be with the Lord forever. Therefore, comfort one another with these words." When I heard this verse in school, I felt that God was speaking to me. So now, when people find out about my dad, I tell them it is okay because I will see my dad again. We will be together with Jesus forever. But while I am still on this earth, I know that God will be my Father. Because Psalm 68:5 says, Father of the fatherless and protector of the widows is God in his holy habitation. Mom and I will be okay, even through hard times. God has truly blessed my life. If it were not for my dad dying, I wouldn't be the person I am now. I wouldn't be living in California. I wouldn't even have the amazing friends I have now. God has worked through my life to make me the person I was made to be.